I'd heard about Frank through my high school years and some of his successes and who he was, and I followed the CFL pretty closely. So as he traveled through his career, I sort of followed him on his path. I mean, we hadn't won a game in 4 years, and we had a part-time football coach in Dick Aldridge. So when Coach Cosentino stepped in, it was rather significant, because at that point in time, I believe the program could have been on the ropes in terms of continuing to be funded. When Frank stepped in, he offered the program instant credibility. 2 Grey Cup rings, 4 Grey Cup appearances. Everywhere he went, success followed him. And he was a man that created energy around him. Within his first year of coaching, he went from an 0-for team to a 4-3 team. The quality of the individuals that he drew into training camp from high school that year was tenfold what we had. They came in because of the quality of Frank himself. He had integrity in what he did, and he did it in a manner which wasn't forceful. It was soft, and you listened, you followed, you knew he was your protector and he was leading you down the proper path. He gave us personal time that allowed each of us to feel we were significant in the overall outcome and success of the team's achievements. That's not only the players, but that's the other coaches, that's the ball boys, that was everybody around him. And that camaraderie that he built around our teams was probably one of the most memorable parts of our experiences with Coach Cosentino. We were playing the Windsor Lancers. Steve Shubat and I were captains, and there was a story that came out in the paper the week of the game. And the story had quoted Coach Gino Fracas. We thought he was questioning our abilities as a team and our credibility to be ranked number 5 at the time. Stepped into his office, we sat down, and Steve vetted his opinion on what had transpired here. I know one thing, when we came out of that office, both Steve and I were writing letters of apology to Gino Fracas for even thinking about, saying anything negative about the Windsor Lancers. Coach turned everything around, and we came out with a better perspective on what we should be doing, and it was a life lesson. It was midweek, practice, 5 o'clock. The skies had opened. I mean, you couldn't see the pavement in front of you when you were walking to put on your equipment. We go, Coach, are we gonna practice today? He looks up at the sky, he goes, give it 10 minutes. Sure enough, at the 9-minute mark, the rain had stopped, the clouds had cleared, and onto the field we went. From that moment in time on, when we talk about that particular instant, the players always got on one knee and hailed Coach Cosentino. Some of the highlights for Coach Cosentino. Beat Western. And that was the first time that a York team, football team, beat the Mustangs. And we know as the players, and Coach knows this too, that Western cried like babies after they lost that game. That year, he took us to a national ranking, number 5. Everything he had set out in his first year of coming to coach the York Yeoman Football Club, he achieved outside of that playoff spot. But that changed in the years to come when Dave Pickett took the team on and led him to playoff berths in the years after with a foundation that was built by Coach Cosentino. In his final 3 years of coaching, where he coached with Coach Wierkowski, Coach Cosentino coached first 2 All-Canadians that York ever had. He had 10 of his players drafted into the CFL. He had 32 OUAA All-Stars. He was Coach of the Year his first year at York. And he provided us an environment that put the school on the map and provided us with a great sense of pride. The residual impact of your coaching is what we, the players, took away with us and were able to use later in life. You reinforced competing in a respectful manner with integrity. You showed us what commitment and teamwork could achieve, and you always kept the game in perspective. It was always just a game. Coach, it's an honor and a privilege to have been asked to be your presenter this evening. On behalf of all your former players, coaches, staff, support team, we want to congratulate you on being inducted into the York University Sports Hall of Fame.